I've been to a lot of brown weddings in my life. Very typically, a brown wedding happens behind a factory in Brampton. I got married at the Fairmont Royal York. We had a great time. We turned the Fairmont Royal York into a Desi Convention Center. Just saying. I hope to run it back for my 10th, 20th anniversary. Tomorrow's a pretty big deal. Tomorrow is the Speaker Spotlight Showcase event, where they're bringing together 4 of their top speakers to speak to all of their current and some prospective clients. It's actually surreal, and it's happening in a studio, the Glenn Gould studio at CBC, which is just hallowed ground for speakers, one of the best studios I've ever spoken in. I've only spoken in there once, and I spoke there the year I burned out. And a lot of people don't know this, and maybe I'll save this for another conversation that we have, but the day after I delivered my first TEDx talk, Stop Managing, Start Leading, my boss made my life a living hell, and I've spent the last 10 years recovering from that. And so that's a big feature of many forthcoming projects. But tomorrow feels like a full circle moment, man. It feels like I'm going where I'm celebrated. It feels like I'm going back and completing the hero's journey. After 10 years of experiencing that immense high of a TEDx talk, and then the crushing low of burning out and being bullied at work, and then recovering from that, I feel like the prodigal son has returned. So tomorrow I step on stage and I deliver the culmination of a 10 years journey to speak about leadership, the topic that started this journey, and I get to now share my insights, my stories, my perspectives from a place of power. I just walked off stage at the Glenn Gould studio, and man, it's like just the feedback that I got from the team, from the clients, unreal, man. People said phenomenal. People said things like it was the best presentation of the day. People were telling me they laughed, they cried, they were moved. People are thinking differently about their companies and their lives, and I'm like, wow. This is real, and it really happened. And so I'm just so glad that at the end of this journey that I've been on, which has lasted 10 years, it got better. So when people told me like it's gonna get better, I now believe them. I'm my hardest critic, right? So even this presentation, I felt like it was a solid 8.5, but from the audience's perspective, they were saying things like 10, 11, so on and so forth. But you know, that comes with the imposter syndrome that we spoke about. I always have this simultaneous track in my mind that is disassociated from reality. And it's always telling me I could be better, I could do more, I'm falling short of my own expectations and goals, but that's counterproductive at some point. You can strive, you can always want better for yourself, but you also have to celebrate the things that are going well. And this presentation went well, and I can't pretend that it didn't. And I should just enjoy and luxuriate in that feeling. People need to celebrate more often. Even if it's a micro celebration, like the one I'm having right now. I'm happy, like this presentation went well. I'm gonna acknowledge it, I'm gonna feel it, and I'll make notes about what I'm gonna improve next time, but I'm not gonna do what I did in the past, which was counterproductive, which was just dismiss this, which is to pretend like this was a catastrophic failure. That doesn't help the audience. In fact, I think it's disrespectful to the audience. It's disrespectful to anybody who believed in you. So I walked off stage, and that feedback, what I said differently this time around was, thank you. I'll welcome that. I'll hold that. I'll feel that. Whereas in the past, I would have done that thing where it's like, I can't take that. That's not me. Or thank you. Like I would just deflect feedback in the past, but that was my own insecurity. Now I'm like, yes, I did work really hard on that presentation. Yes, I did think deeply about the things that resonated with you. I'm so glad it made you feel the way you felt, because I actually thought about that for days, weeks, months before this. I've been practicing this craft for years now, so the least that I can do is accept a sincere thank you. So here we are, man. It's actually happening. This is the day after my Speaker Spotlight Showcase event, which went really well. And this feels, in many ways, like day one. This feels like I'm starting all over again. But, start.
No pun intended.
But, there's a magic thing happening. It's like I've got like rookie energy and enthusiasm, but I've got like unk wisdom. So I've got to come up with a new interesting way to say this. That's not unk status. It's like rookie unk or unk rookie. I don't know, but LeBron James is the shorthand for it. Anyways, we're about to rock.
Oh, that was so soulful. Oh my goodness.
I can't believe it. Like that, I couldn't have asked for a better episode one, sincerely.
Oh, I'm so honored that you invited me for that.
Cast?
Yeah. I love this. Yeah, what a gorgeous studio.
We're having fun, man. I saw an article the other day. What did you yesterday? I was like, Joe Rogan's lost his mojo. And I'm like, yeah, man, rightfully so. Because I think the podcast space, the show space, it needs more diverse voices. It needs more depth. It needs what you and I are about to do. So I'm so glad you said yes to this because you said it on fairly short notice.
I know.
I'm so impressed with you. Come on in. This podcast I'm so stoked for. It's called Sage Advice, S-A-G-E Advice. I started Ideas into Action, I think, in 2017. And at the time, my goal was to record conversations with people that I genuinely enjoy speaking with. Season 1 went very well. People really enjoyed it. And I was pleasantly surprised to see how well the podcast was doing. What happened shortly after, though, is it started to feel like work again. I started to get requests to book speakers that I didn't actually, or like guests I didn't actually want to talk to. And then corporations started reaching out to do ads. At one point I had Bad Boy Records, formerly run by a notorious individual by the name of Diddy. Their A&R department reached out and offered me money to do podcast episodes with aspiring artists. And I found myself one weekend coming up with a list of people who I wanted to speak to for season 2, and I'm like, this feels like work again. This feels like work again. I'm not trying to do another project, so I actually just stopped the podcast while it was at its peak. And then the pandemic happened shortly after that, and I did a couple of episodes that were virtual, but the magic wasn't there, man, because the magic was really being in a studio with somebody, talking to somebody who I actually want to ask questions of. And so here I am now on the other side of that whole journey, and at some point we'll talk about what the year 2024 was for me and how much of a haze it created in my life. But now we're back, baby. Sage Advice. Got 8 guests lined up, people who I have such powerful questions for, and these people have sent me initial feelings about the questions, and they're all like, wow, this is going to be quite the conversation. I have to really take my time and think about this, and I want to come prepared, so on and so forth. I'll give you a teaser. So there's only 3 questions per episode, and we cover the entire arc of a sage. Question number 1. What was the best piece of advice you ever received from a mentor, a colleague, someone dead or alive that inspired you? So we look at the past, the inciting force that brought them on their journey. Then I ask them a question: what is a piece of advice you're considering right now that feels true but hasn't quite landed yet? So what is some advice you're engaging with in real time? And then I hit them with a big one at the end. If today were your last day on earth, what is one piece of advice you would want to leave behind for future generations? And I told these guests, don't prepare, don't tell me your answer. I want to respond to them in real time. So we have our first recording coming up this Friday with Dr. Samra Zafar, author of Unstoppable, fellow speaker, and Janani Jayanti Kumar, somebody who's doing, in my opinion, research that is so ahead of its time that as somebody who works in and researches the future of leadership, she blows my mind. So tune in, man. Sage Advice Podcast, formerly known as Ideas into Action. The ideas have finally been put into action. Sage Advice.
What does SAGE stand for?
Sage, S-A-G-E, somebody wise. That's it. It's one of my career goals to have mom and dad subscribe to my YouTube channel. I love them to death, but the one thing that causes a little tinge of envy is whenever I'm at their place and I see my mom watching vlogs of other creators. She watches this guy called Zaid Ali, right? Who my guy Zayn knows very well. She watches this guy called Abrar. It's a Pakistani dude who rides bikes all over the world. Actually, really dope channel, I gotta say, man. Shout out to Abrar. My dad these days, he's watching a lot of Mark Wiens, food blogger, and I caught him slipping the other day. He was watching some manosphere shit, pardon my language, and I'm like, hey, Pops, you gotta unsubscribe to that. But they don't really watch me. I think they just know me, they've seen my TED Talks, and I would love it very much if mom and dad subscribe to this channel. So here you have it. Evidence. Mom, dad, it is April 30th, 2025. Within 6 months, you're gonna subscribe to my channel and I won't even tell you about it. It's gonna show up on your feed.